racing. Ooh, the voice is on tonight. Man, it's not every night. It's like the voice right now is like smoked like 12 packs of cigarettes, had some whiskey, and been doing some loving all night long. That's the kind of voice I get after all that fun. But the voice is here. The gang is here. The movies are here. It's Saturday night, and we're here to rock and roll, show you some films. And damn it, I didn't put any hashtags in. Well, there goes my hashtag game for the week. Okay, so what do we do here? This is Haps TV. So what you want to do, if you happen to be watching on Periscope, that would be a miracle since they're out of business. But on Twitter, on Facebook, and some of these other platforms, Twitch, Tweak, whatever it is, make an account and jump in here into the comments. Otherwise, let's have some fun, Oh, yes, I do have to do this. Hang on one second. I am doing this now. I do have to make, crap, where is that? Okay, I'll stall. Oh, okay, hold on. Scooch case. This is where I didn't, I'll run the little pretty pictures later. Scooch case. These folks are our second, I guess, official sponsor of the program. They make really cool phone cases. These phone cases have a little thing that lets you hold on to it and stand it up, and it lies flat, and it's really neat. And I'll show you a little later in the program while we're watching one of these films. I'll get that pitch all prepared. But here's the point. Buy their fucking cases, okay? Because if you buy their cases, then they'll tell more people that sponsoring me is a good thing. So, and they'll pay me even more money. So buy their shit. Scoochcase.com. I would not tell you to buy it if it wasn't decent stuff. If it were a piece of crap, I'd say, well, they're paying me $500 million and it's a piece of shit. So decide to buy it or not. But it's not. It's a good thing. It's a good item, good quality. And the folks are local in Indiana. I mean, that is small company, and I checked them out a little bit because I don't want to sponsor anybody that might not have my values if I don't have to. Again, for $500 million, I'll do anything, even $500,000, honestly. Well, even 50,000. Okay, 5,000. Let's be honest. All right, 500. Okay, that's what it takes to get me to sell out. So, yeah, Scooch case, buy some. And we're coming in with some movies. We got 3 of them. Let's have some fun. I'm going to bring everybody in. Can I do this all at once? Don't know. We'll just go like this. Oh, we put Kizzy on. She's like, I don't want to be on. All right. Unless you do, Kizzy, let me know. You can be on if you want, actually. You want to be on, Kizzy? No. She's saying no. Okay. Who am I missing? Everybody there? Harut's just not. He's still driving. All right, the cough button. All right, so to my the other way, to my right, I guess, stage left, maybe Tom Conkle. Then
how are you? Thanks for having me. I'm honored to be among this company here. This is fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, no, awesome, dude. It's great to see you again. And it sounds like we're going to talk to you and Mike Smith is like a production guy, right?
Mike Smith is the co-owner of my production company.
That's what I thought. I was pretty sure. And he's more of his angle is what?
His angle is he watches the post flow. He's very much into the financial. He's also a very creative guy.
Oh, cool.
We've been working together for about 12 years. He started with his background in visual effects. And
that's it. Yeah, visual effects.
In Trouble Is My Business.
Sure. Yeah.
He did a lot of effects, and we've done about 11 projects together.
Did you and I love how we just go down these different paths right away, but because now that makes me think, how much of that how much of Trouble was green screened?
About 60% of it is
holy
green
shit
screen.
That's a lot. That's a lot of green screen.
There are 2,000 composite visual effects in it. If the actors aren't physically touching something, there's some kind of augmentation going on either in the room, out in the street. All the street stuff is created after the fact. Some things
All
are
the street
photographic.
stuff is digital?
Yes, all the
Holy
street stuff is
shit.
digital. All the driving stuff is digital.
Right. Well, Darion,
Um,
what's that machine that like the visual video stuff where you drive it in real time and the image is there? And what's that called?
Yeah, I just did that. I did a commercial for Zero, which is an electric motorbike, and
Uh-huh.
we shot that with an LED wall using Unreal Engine to generate
Holy
all the backgrounds.
fuck.
Yeah,
So does the actor feel like they're in it, basically?
yeah, it feels a lot more like they're in it. I mean, granted, there's a guy with a weed blower, like a leaf blower, like blowing to make the air. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
besides
Okay.
that, you know,
Kills the vibe a little bit, you know?
yeah, yeah, you know, the guy's like,
it.
hold on. But other than that,
actors,
I'm
God
pretty
bless
sure it's
those
just like
actors.
going down the highway at full speed.
Right. God bless those actors. So, all right. And then there's LED, right? Is that what they call that? An LED wall?
Yeah, that's what we're using for
yeah,
the commercials. I don't know if you're using that, Tom, or not.
I did not. The Unreal Engine did not really exist when I started. I love the Unreal. I've messed around with it a little bit. I'm trying to come up with a cheaper solution because they do have those large, very high resolution projection screens that the Unreal Engine basically marries the camera to what you're looking at on the screen.
So it's synced up, basically?
It's synced up. So
Yeah.
as your perspective, parallax changes.
Right.
Like if you're in a forest, some of the trees closest to you are going to move faster than the trees farther away. And
Holy
what
fuck.
Unreal allows you to do real-time changes. If I want to add a boulder over here, if I want to add a little more mountain over there, I can do it instantly. And it's interacting with the reflectivity on, if I'm wearing a helmet, you see it reflected in my helmet. And there's a thing called
Damn.
light wrap. Light wrap is where if I'm really in a stage, if I'm really on a studio or location, the light behind me wraps around my face a little bit. You don't have a hard edge like you would with green screen or you would with something else. And so the light panel is actually wrapping light around you and putting you more into the scene with the Unreal Engine.
So it's adding some depth there.
Yeah. So Darion's using cutting edge technology to do his commercial by allowing the camera to be married to the changing perspective of the background, but the background is also interacting with his subject, which is really cool because it gives him real-time feedback as to how it looks. And so his commercial is looking top notch because he's not having to composite that guy into a background without the light wrap or any of the interactivity.
I'm thinking
go ahead, Darion.
The actress who was on the motorbike. So basically, you've got the Unreal Engine guy who's playing the roadway. She's driving down this desert, right? And he's playing the roadway like a video game. I mean, he's essentially driving her down this roadway. And so because she's sitting on the bike, looking at the roadway, whenever it would curve, she'd like naturally lean and she's doing these reactions because she's seeing it in front of her,
Holy cow, that's wild. Wow. I mean,
it really helps an actor. It really does.
Yeah, that is, I mean, I'm thinking, like 4 walls of that and porn. I'm going to have a good time.
That's usually what drives innovation. That's why VHS was invented. That's why the internet was invented. Yeah.
Right. It's either war, invent shit or porn. You know what I mean? Because it's delivery of porn.
That's why we went
think about robots.
We went to the moon hoping there'd be porn there. We were disappointed.
Well, the first robot
deliver porn to the guys at war, right? That's
exactly.
The ultimate.
There you go. We'll be rich. There's always a war and there's always porn. So that's amazing technology, and I am, have this marvelous painted green screen behind me. I'm guessing, in 10 years, it'll be a premium, but I'll probably be able to pop an LED panel behind me and start doing some cool shit in the office. So I'm sure I could get one now, but it probably costs about $1 bajillion.
They're very expensive, though. That
So
type of projector. Yeah.
yeah, the Unreal Engine, it doesn't just sync the camera to the image like we would think in some generalized way. It's literally so the scene. Oh my God, I got to figure this out. So when we're projecting the road, right, in the old days, like in a Cary Grant movie, would they run a film shot of the driving, and then they would just put the car in front of it, and we were literally watching them filming the screen, right? Okay.
Yes.
And then, we get to green screen and everything, and so you overlay it. You can make the road before and all this stuff. And so now with the LED, is that still kind of what we're doing? We're making the rest of the scene, or is it all happening kind of sort of in real time by knowing what it needs to project? Or because it's got to know that if so the scene's got to be all right. It's got to be all composed, because it knows if you move the camera angle 5 degrees, that there's going to be a little bit of a tiny parallax shift and a exposure shift and everything. And it's literally going to simulate doing all those things to put you in that position. That's like an amazing amount of computing power, an insane amount of computing power.
Well, I mean, we do have the games industry to thank, because it's been all, I don't know how, if you consider the games industry maybe 30 years old, I guess, maybe 30, 40 years. It's really all those years is what's allowing this, because, gamers want stuff happening so fast, right? And so that's what's been pushing it, is all these gaming PCs getting faster and faster, driving down the chip prices, to facilitate that market. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do this stuff.
That's crazy.
Correct.
Because the other thing, Rev, it's actually also, the other thing that was cool is, so they had a lot of trackers on the ceilings. And so the trackers are actually what is knowing where so there's a thing on the physical device on the camera, which is like communicating with these trackers. And so that's how it knows where the camera is in the space. So if the guy's moving the camera, right, the screen is moving along with the camera, as if it's, it knows where it's pointing. So you're looking around the desert and, following that camera in real time.
Yeah,
so,
he's right. It's
ahead.
actually what it's analogous to is if you had your iPhone and you're able to get on a map and you can go on the X-axis, the Y-axis, and the Z-axis, it's tracking all 3 of those axes. And the time that you can compress between the time that the camera moves and that the screen knows to move is down to milliseconds now. So as you're able to pan, tilt, and do it, you'll notice when they were first using it in Mandalorian, a lot of it was lockdown shots. Like you would have a lockdown shot, you'd have some physical props, and then you had your background, which was all on the LED panels. But now, as the delay is getting less, you're able to move the camera and pan the camera, and the background stays with it without any computing going on. But the computer's smart enough to only compute the part that's visible in the lens. It doesn't do all the computation everywhere.
No shit.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Wow. Holy crap. That's really neat. So in just 2 years, the technology has gotten to the point where the Mandalorian, which would be cutting edge, 2 years ago with that tech, is now able to move the camera around. So, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, because I always thought about have it now with the technology, the deep fakes. But years and years ago, I'm like, well, eventually they're just going to be able to program in, the Brad Pitt character with the Brad Pitt character, engine that they've, put together with everything about Brad Pitt ever known to say, do, or whatever. And they throw that all in there, and Brad walks out on stage 100% digital, just like Brad Pitt. And like, we're getting there with this kind of stuff. Like, it's really amazing. And I'm actually thrilled, as we're coming up on being on here for almost 15 minutes, that we can have this conversation with Tom Conkle and Darion Donahue, like 2 people that work in Hollywood. Well, you're in Atlanta, but in these productions, shooting films and commercials, and just amazing that we can have this kind of dialogue here. It's what really makes this really fun. So let me introduce. Looks like Harut's got the camera off, but Hema, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm okay. A bit nervous.
You're a little nervous? Nah, no worries. Look at Darion. He's scared to death and he's fine. It's all good. Just show him a horror film and just watch his face, especially if it's his own horror film and he knows the knife's about to plunge. He still looks like he's not sure. I love when he's watching his own movies, even. It's a blast. So we have Hema, and Hema is in Kuala Lumpur, which is 13 hours ahead of us for those of you playing at home. And 45 minutes ago, Hema and I didn't even know each other existed. But thanks to Harut, we were able to... Wait, is it Harut who connected you to me, Hema? Or... No, it's not, right?
No, it was you this in Clubhouse.
Yes, Udis in Clubhouse. Right. So thanks to somebody that didn't know me an hour ago, Udis in Clubhouse, he reached out to Hema, and now Hema's going to show us her film Wolf that she made, which has some societal and kind of political thoughts around it. So we'll talk to Hema a bit about that before we start it, and definitely after. Harut is back with us again for the second time with another film. And so we're going to be showing Harut's film first, but we're going to jump this off with Tom Conkle's film that he directed, and then it was written and starred in by... Oh, hold on, you're muted. Say it again.
David Beeler.
Yes.
David's a longtime collaborator of mine. We started doing live shows together in 1999 as actors.
Wow.
We did hundreds of shows. He plays Lou in Trouble Is My Business. I've done a bunch of shorts with him, and we wanted to do something. When we went into it, I'd love to set up this film because I think it's important.
Set it up because we're going to run it next. So go ahead and set it up.
So this is called The Longest Knife, which is about a moment in history. History is made in pivotal little quiet moments where a decision is made for the worse or for the better. In this case, it was based on the Night of the Long Knives, which was a conversation that happened in a jail cell between Hitler and Ernst Röhm, who was basically in charge of the SS in 1934. It wasn't that long ago. And yet an entire nation got deluded by him that somehow he was going to save his country and that he needed to coalesce power. So one night, for real, there was a conversation that happened between two men in a jail cell that changed the history of not only Germany, but of the entire world. It was when the purge happened. That's when the SS, which was a paramilitary force in Germany, decided to get rid of anybody that stood in Hitler's way. And in making this decision in a jail cell, it's what created Nazi Germany. It's what led us to World War II. And I made the film because there are moments in history that repeat themselves. We have to stay vigilant to never have this kind of thing happen again. A kind of nationalism and paranoia is very easy to seem like, oh, that's other people, that happens to other people. But no, it happens in any country. It can happen to any society where you begin to demonize the other. You begin to see someone that is so hungry for power that people will follow him anywhere. In fact, it's called The Long Knife because he basically stabbed everyone in the back that helped him get where he was. And it was the way that he was able to coalesce absolute power was decided by two men one night in a jail cell. And this is a film about that moment in history where everything changed. It's that night in the jail cell, and it's called The Longest Knife.
Awesome. I watched it, and I don't always get a chance to see them before. So I definitely... and I would love, and this was put together so last minute, but might be for another time when you're on the show, even for a little bit. What's the writer's name again?
David Beeler.
David Beeler. So I would love if David Beeler were here right now, because I want to talk about the acting, and we'll get to that after, because it's very interesting to me about trying to play a character like Hitler. Such a well-known person. But yeah, all right. So let's watch the film. I think it's 11 minutes. I can't remember.
Yeah, 11 minutes or so around there. Yeah.
All right. Everybody enjoy it. We'll see you on the other side. And this is The Longest Knife. Oh, and the lead-in. I think there's about a 45 seconds or a minute of black here. So let me do this. If I can know how to do this, we'll put Tom in there. Okay. Bunch of us come up. Let me just make sure the movie's still there. Okay, so when it starts, I can get rid of the rest of us.
Titles, titles that come up here at the head.
Yeah, it's just I didn't have time to take some of that black off there. But yeah, this is a very, very intense. This is great to know that this is a piece of history. It certainly seemed like that when I was watching it, and really need to have something so powerful pointed out and there to remind us. I won't get into the politics, but here we go. Oh no. Now we got to wait again. All right. Look at that. I hit the wrong button. Now we get to go through the leader again. There is no way to speed this up. Ugh. Let me see. Go ahead and talk about it, Tom, for another minute.
So yeah, we had to build the. Well, I don't want to give away too much.
Yeah. Well, let's do this. What is it? What is it like when you're trying to, like, how true? Oh,
you are dismissed.
Oh, but I have my orders. Jawohl, Captain.
See me later.
You have a visitor. Stand.
You know who I am.
Yeah.
Don't you mean Jawohl, Captain?
Jawohl.
You mean Jawohl, Air Commander?
Jawohl, Commander. Be that as it may, you must stand up.
It's only one man I will stand for.
Then I suggest you stand.
Sie geil. Ernst? Adolf.
No one addresses the Führer by his...
You've been a bad boy, Ernst.
I have a reputation to uphold.
As do I.
You know of my proclivities. They've never mattered before.
I'm not talking about you screwing young men, Ernst. You have betrayed the Reich, Germany. You have betrayed me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The French offered you 12 million marks to overthrow me.
That's bullshit. Himmler. He's trying to turn you against me. Adolf, look me in the eye and tell me, after everything we've done together, you think I would betray you?
Every man has his price, Ernst. And with your insatiable appetites, you're likely to be one of the most corruptible men I know.
I have my vices, yes, but you know that my commitment to the party outweighs all of those. I would die for the party.
Would you die for me?
Yes, of course. I'm a soldier and you were my leader.
Yes, yes. But would you die for me?
Yes. Besides, you know how I feel about the French. I would be butt by the Juden before the French. You know this. You're Himmler. Your Himmler should have done more homework.
It's not always easy to navigate the political landscape, to know what is the next right step.
We've come so far together. We were just a handful of idealists, just wanting to make Germany great again. Remember whole nights spent drinking in that cellar that smelled of
Smoke, beer, and damp.
Yeah. Trying to take the German eagle to new heights.
To triumph over the carnal nature. I think you've failed there, Ernst.
Perhaps the cock has come home to roost more than the eagle. You were so uptight and pale, so pale. But you had this look of exultation in your eyes. And I saw it. I knew. This one.
We shared our secrets and our hopes.
And now, you are the Chancellor. And I have 4 million men who will do whatever I ask.
Whatever you ask.
Yes.
Then why are they not doing what you ask? I told you to pull the thuggish behavior of the SA in line. The SA cannot run riot through the streets beating people up.
They're just being overzealous. Boys will be boys.
They attacked a diplomat.
When the SA replaces the regular army, they'll be able to channel their frustrations into a real people's army.
The Reichswehr is the army.
We outnumber them 40-1. Put me in charge.
No, Ernst, we've been through this. You agreed the SA would be second to the army. The same generals that lost the last war are gonna lose the next one. When we have the second revolution and give to the workers, there will be no second revolution. There will be no Bolshevik takeover.
Are we revolutionaries or aren't we?
That was then, and this is now. How do you think I am going to pay to realize these dreams of making Germany great again? I've had to make deals, Ernst, with industry, with powerful men, the army, politicians.
You sound just like them.
I do what is necessary.
The SA is the destiny of Germany. You can't walk over me, Adolf. I have men in every key position. You're not the only one with friends in the Reichswehr. So let's be reasonable. If not, I must be prepared to use force. Not for my sake, but for that of the revolution. What?
You will not change.
No. I won't.
No.
I won't.
No, you won't. my old friend. Part of me admires you. Like an oak tree, you will not bend no matter what. Thank you for all you've done for the party, for me. I don't know that I would be Führer without you. Goodbye, Ernst.
You mean auf Wiedersehen?
No. Goodbye.
I thought you were here to release me. You can't do this, Adolf. Without me, there would be no Nazi party. Without me, there would be no Führer. How can you do this to one of your own?
You can have a Roman death.
If you want me dead, Adolf, you do it! If you want me dead, you could do it yourself, Adolf.
5 minutes.
If he wants me dead, he can do it himself.
Time.
That was heavy.
Yeah, a dark time.
Basically, that guy was like back when Hitler was thinking that he's doing this for the people type of thing, right?
Right. And the monster seemed like a human being. That's what we have to remind ourselves is they aren't like cartoon characters, scary, evil people, that these are people that people follow. And the problem with someone like that is they think that they're the hero in their own story, even though what they're doing is so evil. And they're often not presenting themselves as this monster, that they're this compelling person that people are willing to follow, even though what they're doing is so misguided.
Yeah. Somebody in the audience is like, this is now Joe Biden and the Democrats' Party of Socialism, Communism of 2021. Here we go.
Well, the interesting thing about it, and by the way, this was an unfinished version. There's a slightly better version that has color timing to it that just wasn't able to be downloaded in time. I sent you a link for it if you want to download that, but it has a more full. It actually has some titles at the beginning that set the tone, and at the end of the purge, it shows how many thousands of people actually died after that one night. That were taken out by the SS. But it was important to me directing them because it was such a simple thing. It's almost like a play. It's such a simple thing that the Hitler character had to seem like a guy on some level who had charisma, obviously, and he had these people that just blindly followed him. It was no accident that it's like, let's make Germany great again, and we're doing these things, and he's a very compelling character because he seems to care about them. But then on a dime, he's walking out, and once he doesn't exist, you'll notice I never make the other character come back into focus over his shoulder. Once he's out of his life, he stays out of focus. No matter what he's talking, he's looking straight ahead, and he's done with him. He closes the door on him. Literally, you see the door closing on him, and that chapter's done. He used him. He moved on. He got rid of him. and that happened. This
Right.
stuff happens, and evil doesn't come with like a mustache and a twirling hat, a twirling mustache and a black hat. It comes with, this was a person in a cell
And
that
some
people
charisma.
find. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting, because that's the first thing that I wanted to talk about was and that's because that was your direction as a director, because I was, like I said, if you were here, I'd be like, if your goal was, in that short 11 minutes, to transform Hitler the monster to Hitler a dude with emotions and a human being, really, if your goal was to humanize Hitler for that little brief segment of time, and he quickly gets dehumanized when the film is over again, I think, because it's hard to get that to stick in some ways. But that's exactly what I would have asked that you were addressing, because I saw the and this is coming down to the actor himself, I think, too, because I think he did a really good job, and I think he did a better job than his counterpart there, just in terms of their acting ability. I mean, I'm guessing that, having written this, David Beeler has thought about or maybe even played Hitler before.
Yeah.
So he's good. He's, I think he's really good. And the so to go from, because even in that, I don't know if you see it, because I don't know how much you're on the internet, but there's it's a scene from, I don't know, a Nazi Germany movie in the last 15 years. Just, I can't remember what the particular movie is, but it's, well shot. Cinematography is great. It's big deal, big time, big scale kind of movie. But they always use this scene where Hitler's going fucking nuts in a bunker.
Oh, that's Downfall. Downfall. That's the degeneration of Hitler in the bunker. It's that famous scene where he's screaming at everyone in his bunker.
Right.
And it's about the last 5 or 6 days before he committed suicide.
Right.
And the actor who played Hitler in that was fantastic. But that's emotionally just cracked, falling apart Hitler. The thing that we don't get warned about enough, the thing I kind of hate about Nazi Germany the most, is that it didn't present itself as, a Marvel supervillain. It didn't present itself as a man completely off kilter. It was much more of a very compelling figure that you have to be vigilant of, these people reappearing in our history, in our lives, that are charismatic, that people don't follow people that are crazy. They follow people that are charismatic, are compelling, that speak to something in them, that it's much easier to say, it's these other people that are the problem. So I didn't want to make the mistake I think so many people make, is if you make Hitler monstrous and crazy, you're making him the other, to demonize him exactly the same way the Nazis would make, say, the Jews or us, someone of my race or any race, you would demonize them as the other, so it's easy to hate them. So it's easy to say, well, see, that's the problem. They're evil. It's us versus them. But if I demonize Hitler, then I'm doing the exact same thing. But if you present him as a guy who had friends, which he did, and who had this compelling mission to try and coalesce his power, but you make him seem like, my God, that's like my neighbor. That guy could be living next door to me, that's more evil. That's more compelling, but it's a better warning about who we should be looking for, rather than somebody who's going to show up in a cape, and be, I'm evil, I'm going to take over the world. That is making that person the other. That's going, oh, that can't happen again. That person, I would have known Hitler was bad. It's like, really? How did millions of people not know Hitler was bad when he got to the top?
Well, yeah, and I know I've done it. We do try to rationalize that this, how could all of these, Germans not know? But we've all been through what we've been through with Trump. And as much as I don't want to give excuses to Trump followers, a lot of them, would still be surprised that he's evil, because they're still, locked into the to the cult. But yeah, I get it now, how you could get a whole country or half of a country to do something horribly evil willingly. Because, and then think about it. You think there's like we have an overabundance of information today, but the fact is we really don't, because the people that are the Trump supporters, they're kind of still locked into the monoculture of cable TV and not necessarily being on the internet, or just cable TV and just Facebook, very siloed. So, and I can imagine, Germany the same way. You got a couple of newspapers. The Nazis control the newspapers. Everybody's going to believe the newspapers. They believed them before. So I can see how that happens.
Yeah. And we've never been more connected than ever before, but we've never been more isolated than ever before. When I was growing up, I would be exposed to other cultures, other music all the time, because you had sources that you go to school and you go, hey, last night, did you see so-and-so playing on the Tonight Show? Yeah, I saw that. I never heard that song before. Well, now a kid can program exactly what they want to hear on Spotify, put it on an iPod, do whatever. They can listen to their own programming on their own news, their own broadcast, their own radio station, and never hear what their neighbor or their other kid ever hears. So you can connect this in all these different ways, but we also have to think about, you can also decide exactly what you want to hear only when you want to hear it, and you never have the communal experience of 20 million people all experiencing the after school special movie. The way I found a lot of classic movies was there was nothing else on. So like at 4 p.m, I might be exposed to a movie and I'm looking at it. I'm like, I didn't know anything about this guy, or I didn't know anything about this film. But now you can go, nope, I'm going to go on Netflix. I'm going to look for the exact movie that I want to see, that reinforces what I believe, that's an artist I already know. And then Netflix recommend engine will go, oh, you like that movie? Well, here's another movie just like it. The recommend engine doesn't recommend movies you're not exposed to. It recommends more of the same stuff that you're exposed to. So you're in an echo chamber, on top of the fact that we're more isolated than ever and more connected than ever. Everybody's sitting alone, feeling connected to the entire world, when in fact there is no connection. It's an artificial connection. I've never met you. I don't know what you're like in real life. I'm able to share my film with so many people, but so many people can also decide they don't want to see my film. And if my film's not on ABC at 7:00 at night, then somebody who doesn't seek out my film is never going to see it, because it's not in that open, free market of ideas the way it used to be. There are gatekeepers now you have to do. You have to subscribe to the right streaming service. That streaming service has to make your film available. Somebody has to seek out that film in the first place. So there's a duality here that's fascinating. We've never been more alone and isolated, and we've never been more connected. And
Hey, Tom. Yeah. You've never thought of this stuff before, have you? Just came to you?
I thought a little bit about it. Yeah.
I love it. They no, and I love the fact that something like filmmaking, that has such a profound impact in our lives, can compel us to start these dialogues and conversations. And that conversation about the LED and the Unreal Engine and everything, to me, and then to see such a simply composed film, you're only outside the jail cell for the maybe first moment or two of the film, and then the end when Hitler's walking down the hallway or whatever. So like you said, it is kind of very much like a play. And the intimacy, I don't know that I've ever seen, because I'm not a big war movie fan or whatever, I'm like the search engine. I'm going to watch the ones that I've heard about or whatever. But, but I don't think I've ever seen a more intimate portrayal of Hitler before, in that just one-on-one, you can't help it but being intimate,
A history is made by the quiet little intimate moments. Those are the moments that turn. There was a moment when, we decided to become the United States, and that was probably a quiet conversation in a room somewhere where we decided to rebel. Anytime there's been a protest, there's been a conversation between people in a quiet place, in a quiet way, that decided to change the world. They decided, today we're going to do something. We're going to do something different. And it's positive. It can be positive change, but those quiet little moments those what I call tipping points or pivotal moments. Those are the ones that often don't announce themselves with a lot of fanfare. You might see it end on Normandy Beach, but World War II was begun by quiet little conversations in cells and in back rooms, and all the decisions that were going on. All of history is that way. There was probably a quiet conversation that started building the pyramids. There is always these little moments that decide everything that changes.
When everything is a camera and our lives are completely intertwined with computers and our biological selves, and every moment of everyone's life is filmed in a sense, we can go back and review. Hey, remember that little conversation Tom and Revolution had that started the war? Hey, let's go look at that.
Let's go look at it.
From both angles, right?
First generation we've ever had where the grandkids are going to be able to show the entire timeline of their grandparents and their parents off of Facebook. They'll be like, well, here's my grandma when she got drunk for the first time. Well, here's my grandma when she graduated from high school.
Well, they won't even have to put it together because Facebook will put it together for you.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be like, oh, yeah, we noticed that. Yeah,
keg stand, grandma's first keg stand.
It'll be like, oh, we noticed that it's your grandma's birthday today. We made this whole video for you of your entire life, which we're sure she's gonna like because all her friends enjoyed the one that we created for them.
That is absolutely true. That is
100%. 100%.
Quick question about your character, Tom, the guy in the cell. Do you feel like? Yeah, I mean, do you feel like he was totally blindsided? Like at that, he pretty much. You don't think he knew he was going down at that point? He figured he was getting out, really, or something. It sounded like.
I think, to be honest, I think his sin is one of pride because I think when he postures in it and he's like, "Hey, I've got 1 million people that'll listen to what I do," I think he believes his own crap. And I think that's probably what made him the person that would have followed it in the first place. But I also think, it's thick as thieves. I think that someone like him never even doubts that he'd be able to posture. He probably thought he was better. He's like, he controlled the SS. He controlled that. He controlled the secret police. So he felt like he was doing him a big fat favor and he was untouchable. And again, the arrogance coupled with a kind of ignorance of human nature creates those kind of people. And it happens all the time with any society where someone's, power doesn't necessarily corrupt. I think it unveils people. I think it reveals people. And I think when certain people get power, the thing that was already in them just gets amplified. And you can do great things with power. You can be a great person. You can make huge changes for the good. But I think also with power, you can unmask somebody who was a petty person, who was an angry person, and in his case, an arrogant person. One of the reasons I had him talking to the guy in the jail cell at the beginning was he was like that. He's like, "Hey, I'll talk to you later. I'm just going to be in here for a couple hours and then I'm out of here." It's like, it's no big deal. He was like a mafioso, he was like, I own this place. Nobody can touch me. And in real life, he was like that. And when he got betrayed by Hitler, I think it completely blindsided him because he was like, me? How could this happen to me? I'm the one who's supposed to be betraying people.
Got it. Yeah.
So that script, 100% just fiction, but based on what David knew about the characters, and maybe what backstory you have on the people and stuff. And then obviously from there on, it's just a series of assumptions that you're putting together to make a piece. And he's driving kind of a specific narrative and everything. So just so people know, it's not like this was recorded somewhere and we have it in the record books. It's just that moment. And then it's your guys' interpretation. And how much, obviously we know, this is what I was saying before, we know a ton about Hitler. But the other character, I'm guessing there's quite a bit known about this guy.
Yeah, and if you go anywhere on the internet, the Night of Long Knives is a very well documented historical event.
Okay.
There are books written on it. Really, it's taking the bullet points from history, which was Hitler's desire to consolidate his power, settle old scores. You had Ernst, who was basically in charge of the SA. He wanted to do something called the National Socialist Revolution. And Hitler kind of wanted to basically stabilize the economy so he could take credit for a stable economy. So the two were using each other at that time. And so, knowing humans as humans are, the conversation grew out of, if you pile enough facts on somebody, you can almost hear by dictation what they would have said to justify it. It seems perfectly reasonable that, like, Hitler's like, look, do you know what I've spent doing this? The cost of doing this? I've got, to be a political animal. And Ernst's like, wait a minute, I thought we're revolutionaries, and when you have the idealism of somebody who's an evil revolutionary, being used by somebody who is a politician, who knows how to do it. Well, it was his need to bring everything under his control. So he saw himself in this Ernst character and turned it against him and betrayed him. In his arrogance, he did not see that he was going to show his supremacy over him, where Ernst thought he was the one on top.
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
that makes total sense. Hey, Hema, what did you think of the movie?
My mind is like, I'm also not really like a war movie person, but the fact that it's like there's no fancy place or fancy camera movement or whatsoever, but it's so simple, and like for a beginner, for me, I'm like, okay, I'm learning all of this. His acting is so good, and it I'm speechless. It's really good. Like, I'm learning a lot from this.
Awesome.
Thank
And you
you.
just finished. Were you in film school specifically?
Yeah, I used to do engineering, and then I switched to film school,
Uh-huh.
which I completed last month. So yeah.
And now you're working as an editor. Yeah, congratulations. Big round of applause for that.
Thank you.
And now you're working as a video editor somewhere?
Yeah.
That's
That
great.
what are you editing?
That's how to learn how to direct, by the way, editing. Knowing what
there you go.
to shoot and what to leave out, what not to shoot. And for performance, it's not getting in the way of the performer. The reason I picked angles, I tried to shoot on diagonals so that you could always feel the presence of a guard over his shoulder. And it's really a dance, with the foreground, background, with the two of them talking. But it's really just not getting in the way of the performance and trying, film and your memory of film is all about faces. You think that you've seen this giant spectacle, but what we really remember from movies, like, all happens right here, and it's in people's eyes, and it's how you felt. So I made it very much about only shooting a couple of scenes of the geography of the room, because when you're editing, you want to establish the geography of the room very quickly. So you'll see I show a out of focus jail cell bars. So you almost feel like someone's outside the jail looking in. And in that case, that's Hitler looking through the jail at the other guy. He sends a guard in to tell him to stand up. Well, you get the geography of the room as this tight little space with one window, and he's there. Once you get the geography of the room, the whole film is almost completely taking place in their faces, because it's the betrayal, it's the little micro expressions that people make, that's what you remember. And in editing it, you have to it's like a sculpture. You have this piece of granite, and you have to know what to knock out, what to leave out, to find that statue in the center of it. So when you're editing, always think about it's what you choose not to put in that's way more important than what you put in.
Right. Okay.
That's how Darion reverse engineers Coronas when he doesn't have any in the fridge. He chips away at the pieces that aren't there, and then the beer shows up.
Hey, that's practical. That is practical.
Just remembering you on a beer run when we did one of these shows in the beginning of the show. So.
Yeah, and now I'm on water today, which
You're
is
on water,
which is really
Are you okay?
sad.
Are you sick? You all right? You feeling well?
Yeah, it's really sad. I'm like on water. Oh,
It's like the life-giving fluid. Ugh,
That's right.
I got to drink that again. Shit. All right. Well, that was a lot of fun.
Thank you for showing it. I sent you the finished version. You'll have to see if it downloads. If you ever want to show it again, you're welcome to show that version. That version has the titles on it, and it also has sound design and color correction. You'll see
cool.
there's some differences in that version.
Well, that's very cool.
Hopefully
That
that
is
works.
very cool.
Absolutely. I appreciate you showing it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and we're gonna take a look at yeah, dude. I appreciate you coming on the show the first time, and I appreciate you actually answering my IG message and saying you'd come on my show. So
Sure, no, of course, happy to.
it's really nice to have to know you and become friends here along the way too. And shoot, yeah, I'll text you on IG because there was something I wanted to talk to you about too. So that'll be cool. So I'm glad I got to see you. But yeah, let's watch Hima's film, and
Okay.
I think both these films are going to be. I don't remember how long your film, Hima.
It's around 12 minutes.
12 minutes, and I think Harut's. I don't remember. Well, anyway, let's watch them. So we're going to go with Hima next. This is called Wolf. Hima, give us a little bit of the story as it relates to the real life part of it. Don't give us the story of the film, but kind of give us the story of why the film is made and everything like that. Does that make sense?
Right, makes sense. So, in Malaysia, a lot of people tend to make psychological thrillers in a way that it demonizes mental health. So it always starts with, oh, this person has depression, so they go kill people around, or they have bipolar and do this. So I don't like the idea of demonizing mental health. So that's where the whole idea stemmed from. So, and it's just a very simple story. So this was done when I was in uni with my friends that I found on Instagram. Like, because I do photography as well, so I saved up money and then planned the shoot during the whole COVID thing. So this film is it's revolved around the whole theme of not judging a book by its cover, and me just experimenting filmmaking for the first time. So yeah.
Cool. That's great. I think that was a very nice setup. So, and the title is just Wolf, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. This is Wolf. And Hima, how do you say your last name?
Iswaran.
Hima Iswaran. Here we go.
Yeah.
The series of gruesome killings continues in Malaysia. 3 weeks ago, a young woman was kidnapped from the premises of her own apartment. Police reports yet another body of a young female has been discovered. The victim's body was found stuffed in a luggage in a nearby parking lot. Her arms were cut off. This makes it a total of 5 young women murdered this year.
An international pest control summit has
Hey babe, how are you?
Just want to check up on you.
I don't know. Every time I walk around this house, it just reminds me of her. She was such a goof. I mean, all the stupid things she did. Why her? Why kill her?
Oh, Sarah, don't cry. Has the police contacted you yet? Are there any leads on the case?
No, there was no other witnesses that night besides me.
Doesn't your apartment have CCTV cameras though? There should be other people living inside, right?
This stupid old apartment doesn't have any CCTV. I mean, everyone's shifting out, so nobody knows how, when, or where Yasmin got taken. But the police are calling me for inquiries, and you know how much that stresses me out.
Don't worry, babe. I'm sure everything's gonna be alright. The police are doing their job, and I'm sure they're gonna find a clue soon.
Yeah. Anyways, I think I'm gonna go out for a while. So.
Okay then. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello? Yeah. Yep. Please. Yeah. Could you help me with this? Put this in my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, okay.
Careful. It's heavy. Welcome. Put the box over there. Let me get you a drink. Tea or coffee?
No, I should probably go.
No. Tea. Okay.
Okay.
No, it's you! You killed Yasmin!
Six months later, yet another gruesome case. The body of a young woman was discovered burned in an abandoned building yesterday. After post-mortem, Chief Police Hashim has confirmed there are no connections between this case and the ones from earlier this year. The murderer was caught 6 months ago. This is Kasturi reporting for Channel News Asia.
No, it's you. You killed Yasmin.
Huh? What? Who's Yasmin?
Here, look.
What are you talking about? Are you like fucking crazy?
Don't you dare call me crazy.
Can I tell you a little story?
I don't want to listen your bullshit stories. Okay?
No. Sit. Nobody listened to me when they should have. Now you listen.
Okay. Okay.
Yasmin. She was my best friend. I thought she understood me, but turns out she was just like those other pretty girls. Pretty on the outside, but witches on the inside. Just like my mother.
Sarah.
Every night she would come home drunk and beat the crap out of me. I went to school with bruises, but nobody cared. Nobody listened. I was accused of attention seeking. They would never believe that my beautiful mother could do such evil things. So, once I grew up, I packed my bags and moved to KL with Yasmin. I thought my past was over, but every time I saw a pretty girl, I saw my mother.
Mommy wants to talk to you.
That's when I decided that all pretty girls deserve to die. But one day, Yasmin found bloodstains on my shoes. She came asking me questions, so I told her the truth. I was only doing this to protect the world. Nobody should have to go through what I went through. But she decided to go to the cops. So, I had to do it. I had to. She's dead now. But the cops, they're still at my back. And they're calling me in for inquiries. So, my precious little lamb, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna plant her little bracelet with you. So, when the cops come finding her, they find you. How about that?
You don't have to do this. Wait.
Nice.
Great job. That was good.
I love it.
Really well done.
It's kind of scary.
Okay.
I was kind of scared, you know.
I'm seeing a theme here tonight.
It's always the theme around here. Scariness.
What
So-
theme are you seeing, Tom?
People that present is one thing, and then there's a turn and a betrayal.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Nice.
There's
Hema,
another.
go ahead.
Like in Malaysia, there's a stereotype of dark-skinned Indians. The stereotype is if you're dark guy here, they think you're a thief or a robber. So people immediately think that, okay, you're up to no good. So I purposely found an actor that fits the stereotype, which is the guy with the hoodie. And then, well, he's not the bad guy. So that's another thing I tried.
Ah, so in that culture in particular, if someone is slightly darker, there's a misperception that somehow that's going to be the villain?
Yeah, correct.
Oh, that's interesting.
So even, not just on the big cultural level, but if I'm watching a film, that's really good, Tom, to ask that. Because if I'm watching a film, if it's a dark-skinned character, you know that's the language of film in Indonesia. That's the bad guy. I just repeated what you said, but yeah, that's really interesting to take it on that level. And in the hoodie, he was kind of pretty damn scary looking. So you did a good job of the character being, the one that had to be evil, and then it turns. And this is where I was having a little trouble with the mental health awareness part of it, because clearly she was psychologically disturbed, and has some mental health problems. But I couldn't quite make that connection from the cultural perspective of it until you told me that, he is suspected of, you would think he was the wolf, but it's her that's the wolf. And then the actual literal reveal at the end that she's the wolf, I think that just works. It's really neat. It's like, yes, she is. There it is. You know what I mean? And I'm wondering, because that's so clear cut, what motivated you for that very final scene to unmask the wolf as her? Show it.
Yeah, I think just to relate it back to the title of the film. So if people are wondering why is it called Wolf, so it's because the film starts off with the back of the wolf, and like you don't see the person masked, and then it loops back to the ending where you see her face. So it's like a very, very literal thing. Like, okay, wolf, her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you showed us that not only at the end, but in the beginning, and you took us to that point. So it's important that she's revealed underneath to be the wolf. So yeah, that's very cool, because did you say that was your first film?
Yeah.
And you did you shoot it and everything? Who shot it?
One of my friends, his name is Bharat, he was the cameraman.
DP? Yeah, okay.
Like the story, the editing, there's like VFX and all, everything is on me. But then I had like a sound guy, music director, and all of them. Yeah.
Oh, good. So these were fellow students, right?
Yeah, I've not met any of them. Like when we were shooting, was the first time I met them. I found them.
Oh, wow.
And even like Yudis, the guy who suggested me here, he was the audio engineer for this. So he recorded the voice.
And Yudis was here before. I don't know if he's still here. Yep, I saw him. Okay, so the story of the wolf, does it actually have? Is there contextually a wolf story that's kind of like this, or are wolves a dominant evil in Malaysia? Like, where do you get the wolf from?
I think it's more on the wolf in sheep's clothing scene.
Okay,
that's what I thought.
Yeah. Makes sense.
She is a wolf. She's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Like, she presents herself as a sheep, but she's a predator, right?
Yeah.
Cool. I like that. Very good.
That's great.
First film. Hema, very nice. anything that one could find, in need of, would be very relatable to somebody's first film, meaning that you did a good job. If there's a shot that's held a little too long in your professor's mind, or the cut was a little off, I didn't really even see anything at that level. So, I mean, it's, technically well done, and especially for a first film. And it's just a really nice story. I think the acting's, I think she did a nice job. That's a fun first film to have.
The thing with the light was really cool at the end there. Whatever you were doing, did you just physically change the light over time, like in real time?
Yeah, it was physically changed. So like, the lighting guy, he had this like light LED thing which you can turn and switch. So there's like cues for him to change to a certain light. But surprisingly, like a lot of people like in uni didn't really like the idea of that monologue with the light changing thing, because they felt like it was too boring because it was just static. So
I noticed that you made reference to Gone Girl.
Oh, the book.
yeah,
Yeah, do you want to talk about that?
because the on the book, it's written the same thing of like not judging a book by its cover. So it's like, if you realized it, then good for you, otherwise people won't get it. So it's like a personal thing inside.
Like an Easter egg or something.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, cause Gone Girl is that same concept, right? It's like that actress. Oh gosh, what's her name again? So there's Ben Affleck.
It's not Emma. It's is it Emma? I know who you mean. Yeah.
Something with an R.
Hey Google, who's the star of Gone Girl?
Let's see if Google knows.
Rosamund Pike.
Yeah, Rosamund Pike.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Rosamund Pike. Right. So it's like you're thinking Ben Affleck is the bad guy the whole time, but it actually turns out that she's evil. So you really made a good parallel with Gone Girl.
It's nice.
That was nice. That was a good job. I like that reference. You're a Fincher fan?
Yeah.
Kind of hard not to be, I guess, once you see Fincher's work, right? I mean,
yeah, he's a master, and he knows how to control what you look at, how you feel, how you see. You look at him at work and everything. Yeah, I mean, he knows how to manipulate you beautifully.
But here I got to say this, because Tom, you're a producer, right? And a director and a writer and an actor. It's like you got all four of those things. And I heard you go, ugh, and then talk about him, because it's like, fuck, like that Fincher, how's he do it? You know what I mean? I'm having fun here, but it's just like, God damn, how do you, like people like that, they come at a level that you're just like, holy fuck.
Yeah, he has his own visual language. He really does. He knows he can control your eyeballs, and that's a really powerful thing. If you look at Seven or Zodiac or any of the things that he does, Gone Girl, he tells you what to look at. You know how to feel. He's manipulating you on so many levels. It's a real art form. There is a David Fincher style. There's a David Fincher film that fits. And if he goes out of that zone, you start to see some of the seams. But when he's in the zone and doing what he does, he's one of the best manipulative filmmakers I've ever seen.
I like that. Manipulative filmmakers. But like
Hema, for you, is that that's like, because you're already making a thriller. Do you think you'll continue in this path of thrillers, like almost like Fincher?
I think generally, like, my favorite genre of film is thriller and the whole mystery crime thing. But because I'm really new, so I definitely want to try out other genres and see, how I do there. But my heart would obviously be with thriller, because that's my favorite genre.
And you said that's a Malaysian in the culture, thrillers are big, right? That's neat.
Yeah.
It's neat that that's the dominant kind of, like national form of what, kind of the country, like the Malaysian people, it's a popular genre for people. I guess what would our one of our most popular genres would be, I guess, what would you guys pick? Like if you had to boil it down to one thing to describe American film,
Action.
action.
At the moment, it's superhero movies. It used to be westerns,
Right.
but buddy cop movies.
They had there for a while.
Action films are typically American. I mean, we've co-opted a lot of styles. Film noir, we kind of co-opted from Germany. The thing about America that's kind of cool is there's all different kinds of styles. Like there isn't one particular genre that, it evolves over time. Like you think, oh, well, this is an American film, but now this is an American film. It's constantly evolving, just like the country is. So I think they're all American films. Each genre has its day. It happens to be a popular thing, but what's great is, at least in American filmmaking, there's room for a lot of different genres. There's not one thing they make, and I think that's interesting. In Malaysia, what is the distinguishing things, like in a thriller in Malaysia? What makes a Malaysian thriller? What are the tropes? What are the things that you usually see in a thriller?
I think first of all, like if we're talking about a genre that Malaysia loves a lot, the first that I would come, it will be horror actually, and comedy horror. So I don't know why, but people here love comedy horror. So like the ghost is a funny character or something. But when it comes to thriller, I guess what they like a lot is plot twists. Like you think this and then reveal something else. Like you didn't expect it. I think that aspect of it they like in thriller.
Interesting. So it's that thing and a twist of some kind at the end. So it's a psychological thriller.
Yeah, correct.
Interesting. Yeah.
What? Go ahead.
I love seeing what comes out of cultures and how, like, you're being exposed. Like, for example, like samurai films went ahead and influenced westerns, because you start with the Seven Samurai and you end with the Magnificent Seven, and then in Italy they're like, oh, I really like these films. I'm going to make a Western in Italy based on a Japanese samurai film. So you have this whole thing that kind of goes around the globe and influences and remixes. So I'll be real curious to see what comes out of Asia as Asia gets more and more exposed to different genres. I'd love to see what they come up with. I'd love to see like Malaysian sci-fi.
Yeah, I would be, Hema, I'm particularly impressed that you were willing to take the risks on that final monologue, because it's not literal. Like, I mean, that's the fun of it, right? You could have just stayed very literal, only, just having her reveal, but like with you doing the thing with the lights, and then you had the thing with her twisting and spinning around and all these extra edits. I love that, man. I love that. I hope that you continue to try that, because that's, for me, those are the fun of film, right? It's like the expression of how you tell the story also, not just only the story, but how you decide to show it, and the wolf and the spinning, like, it puts me into, and it creates an atmosphere and a mood. So I'm proud of that, seeing that for you.
Thank you so much.
That was very good.
I agree.
Very nice, Tom. I mean, Darion. I was thinking Malaysia and filmmaking, and how many, like, I know. So China and Asia, but China in specific, not Malaysia, but the power of Asia in filmmaking. Just tonight, I literally, I sound like such a millennial, and I'm not. I tweeted or retweeted or Instagrammed or whatever a post by Michelle Rodriguez, right? Fast and Furious
Yeah, Michelle
Right, that's
Rodriguez.
who's.
Yeah.
Yes. She does a little video, and it's like, "Hey, how are you? Blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. My film, Fast and Furious or whatever, 19 or whatever, that's out right now. That's doing real well, and I want to thank, like." Different people. And then she says thank you in like Indonesian and Korean and, in Japanese and then in Chinese. And when she says it in Chinese, she actually mentions China or Chinese. But the fact that the star of this film is uploading an Instagram post saying thank you to countries in Asia for making her film popular, right there just shows you how much China does now and is going to continue to influence our films. I mean, films can't be shown in China unless they have X amount of Chinese culture or production done or whatever. They're coming up with all these kind of rules of, well, if you want American films to play in China, you're going to have to be at a certain set of standards and expectations. So I just thought it was interesting that she was, thanking the next world power, and excuse me, and already the biggest power in Hollywood outside of the traditional, power brokers. But I mean, in terms of new power, it's China, and then Asia and Malaysia. I mean, those places where the markets are huge and there's lots of people that want to see movies. It's.
I think James Wan himself is like part of the Fast and Furious franchise, so he's from Malaysia, and yeah, a lot of I think Malaysians, when they find like a different Malaysian in a different country doing something big, that is a part of marketing too.
And which actor is this?
The director.
Oh, the direct. Wait a minute. What's the director's name?
James Wan. Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay.
He did a lot of the Saw movies, didn't he?
He also did one of the Star Trek movies. Yeah.
But he's best known for what? Saw. Did he do a Fast and Furious, right?
He did a Fast and Furious, yeah.
Conjuring as well.
Oh, yeah, The Conjuring. Yeah, absolutely, The Conjuring. Yeah. But his first thing that made him popular was, what was the very first?
Saw and Insidious.
And I thought he did a
Saw the first thing?
Film.
Yeah.
Let's see, I'm looking at his, see if I can find his filmography here.
I think he would have done the Fast and Furious right before 8. I think F. Gary Gray did the most recent one, and then he was probably right before
Yeah, I think
F.
you're
Gary
right.
Gray.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Here it is. 2004, Saw. 2006, Saw 3. 2007, Dead Silence, Death Sentence. 2010, Insidious. 2013, The Conjuring and Insidious Chapter 2. 2015, Furious 7.
Furious 7.
That's interesting. The whole idea around the corporate and cultural influence of China in American film, because it's just like I was talking to one of the executives at HAPS the other day, and we were talking about live streaming and how there will be 1 million Chinese in the next few years that are like full-time live streamers like I am, that's how big the market is going to be in China. And anything that's giant in China, and, in China, there's a version of Twitter that's way bigger than Twitter. In China, there's a version of Amazon that's way bigger than Amazon. I think that's Alibaba. But I mean, for everything that's big here, they do it in China 10 times bigger. And that engine of economic power just is bleeding over here now. Like, we used to influence everything around the world. We practically don't influence anything. And I just think that's a neat dynamic, and it'd be a neat dynamic for filmmakers going forward, thinking about, the studio right now is kind of forcing some films to go shoot in Asia or in China, you have to shoot this scene in Hong Kong or in Beijing. But it's written for Indianapolis. Doesn't matter. This scene in the film, we need at least one scene in the film in fucking China. So, we can make bank in the Chinese box office, because the Chinese people do not want to see, they don't expect to see Tom Cruise in Beijing for the whole movie, but they expect to see some of their culture represented in American films if you want them to come watch it. And that's a big transition from us jamming films down the throat of other, countries of, hey, we're America, we make what we want. So I think that's an interesting.
Well, it's almost like all the films, prior, like it's always New York, right? And it's always LA.
Mm-hmm.
And then, every once in a while you get a few other things. So now we start to see some Beijing come in there, that kind of thing. I mean, I think it's normal that if, countries putting up most of the money or generating a lot of money, that you have to go to that audience. Because, before, because honestly, in the United States, I think I read somewhere that New York, LA, and Atlanta account for 33% of the total box office in the United States. It's just
that's
those
pretty
three
big.
cities. Yeah. So, so that's why, that's normal then. If most of the people watching the movie are like either from there or whatever, then look, there's, Times Square or whatever, So now if that shifts, right, where there are a lot of Chinese people watching it, it's more fun if they can see, look, there's our capital city, there's Beijing, there's
right,
Shanghai or something, right? So that's kind of normal. I think, though, personally, that the streaming thing is gonna, like the bigger budget films are gonna be worried about that. But I think there will still be a lot of niching, and stratification, where you'll just still have a lot of creators just making whatever they want, because there's not I don't think everybody's going to pay attention to that.
Yeah, I think the thing that's interesting, though, the way you just said it there, is so we still have long form entertainment in a film or a multi episode, like a mini series or something, right? You get this 2-hour format or 1-hour format. But on the other side of it, the YouTube, the first 45 seconds, you only have 45 seconds of attention span, and then they're going to move on. And I was just doing the reading about Reels and TikTok, and you have to grab them in the first 2 seconds. 2 seconds. You have 2 fucking seconds to hold them there, or they will jump, because they're just going to swipe, right? And so I was making a TikTok / Reels, because I make them 30 seconds so they can go on both or something. But so what I did for the first 2 seconds was I cut up about, I don't know, but I in that first 2 seconds, I've got about 15 fucking shots. It's just, and it's like all red. And I look at it, I'm like, fuck, I'm going to put somebody in a fucking coma with that. Like, I can't do that. Shit. So then I figured out how to turn it blue. And it's mostly nonsense. It's literally just some titles, kind of a funky background that I have moving in and out. It's just gobbledygook. But I'm like, but maybe they'll see the gobbledygook and be like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And then it's just literally, she's playing the guitar. It is such a huge transition from insanity to a woman singing a song. I'm like, I don't know if that's going to hold them. But you've got to do something in the first 2 seconds to hold somebody to watch your TikTok. Like, yeah. Darion, we've talked about this before when I used to edit commercials, and I know you've probably done that stuff too, Tom, of editing something. I'd rather a lot of times edit a 2-hour industrial film that's boring with 15 total shots than a fucking 30-second commercial with 27 shots in it, you know? Like, it's way hard to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously have very strong opinions about this. I feel really sorry for the people that can only get grabbed by 2 seconds of something, because I think to myself, how much stuff have you missed? Because look, if 2 seconds is all you have to grab, the sizzle hasn't gone from being the thing that grabs your attention. The sizzle now is the entertainment. And think of what you miss. You know, Lawrence of Arabia, if it doesn't grab you on the fade up's 2 seconds to fade up in the movie. If that doesn't grab you, it's gone. I was listening to Miles Davis. I don't know if you're a jazz fan, but if you listen to the first 2 seconds of Kind of Blue and you're like, well, I don't like trumpets, and then and you're done.
6 notes.
It's like, you know, I get that we're trying to get ADD culture and we're trying to get people's attention, but the discipline of a film or a piece of art or a piece of music asking something of the viewer, which is to pay attention, but also challenging you, that gets lost in the ADD cut too. And here's my problem with it. Everything starts being exactly the same. Every trailer is dum 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 womp. And it doesn't matter if it's a drama. It doesn't matter if it's Inception.
Little Women.
It doesn't matter. Because that's
fucking
what's grabbing
atomic bombs at the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And my problem is this: is like, if you want to really go and relax into, I don't know, a Joe Sample song. I was listening one today in the car, and I'm like, the first 2 seconds of it might be them just riffing, bringing up the rhythm section and bringing up a bass, and then you're like, nah, I don't like that. I'm done. And you move on. What if you live your whole life that way? You know, and some stuff, the sizzle's up front and then you sit. But if we have to convince you every single time to sit down and pay attention to something, there is a problem with that, because there can never be anything substantial, because you're like, now you're asking me to think, now you're asking me to pay attention, and that's the problem, is the sizzle shouldn't be the steak.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've done it to ourselves, because I mean, if you think about the way Hollywood has kind of, you know, come up with these formulas, right, for making films, and you know, it starts all with that whole the cold open thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like we've gotta. Normally, I might write this way, but in order to sell it to the producers, want me to have some action in there that teases people as to what they have to look forward to later in the show, or else they're not going to watch, right? And it's like, maybe I don't want to do, whoa, 24 hours earlier. You know what I mean? What if I just want to go linear?
I'm with you. Or, you know, what if the entire film is cut like a trailer? You know, if you look at a movie like Taken 3, there are 12 shots for Liam Neeson to just climb over a fence and go on to the other side
I've
of the
seen
fence.
that.
There are 12 cuts.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Anybody should go watch that. Anybody who's watching, go look up, just type in what he just said. Liam Neeson Taken 3 getting over the fence or something like that. And a lot of it was because they were like, okay, so he's not able to physically do this particular move that we want him to do, like in real time. So they started cutting it. It's really embarrassing. Like if I were Liam Neeson, I would have wanted like edit control over that to remove that scene and just have me be through the fence or something.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, but
don't worry, I'm going to show it. Just hang on.
Yeah, this will be a great one. This is really, really funny. Hema, have you seen this?
Yeah.
This thing with the Taken 3 with Liam Neeson trying to get over the fence?
No.
Okay, you're going to enjoy this. This is great.
Not to edit a film. Yeah.
Yeah, how not to edit a film. But I'll give you another film that's like that. Has anybody seen Six Underground?
No.
On Netflix?
Is it cut the same way?
Oh my! Imagine a 2-hour movie cut like a car commercial. You know, like a
where it's a shaky shot.
Yeah, everything is like, and it's funny because it's almost a good study. I think it's actually a worthy study in editing, because it's amazing how you can put a random sequence of images and you're still conveying like, you know what I mean? It's like it's not the logical order is not necessarily any flow, but it's just like boom, and now there's a helicopter, and then there's a foot running, and then there's a missile, and then there's like, you know what I mean? A guy's like expression, and literally the whole movie just keeps going like that. Like it's just like I was waiting and watching it to see when would it ever slow down.
Yeah, when does it ever slow? And that's Michael Bay, isn't it? Michael Bay did.
Oh yeah, he directed it, man, and it's like so. I heard the rumor is I heard this on Clubhouse actually from people who worked with Michael Bay that apparently he has 5 editors in the room with him editing.
I know, and you know what? Part of it is maybe not trusting your material. And the other part of it, and this is just me speculating, but if he himself is ADD and his eye and his mind can't settle on anything, then this constant stimulation is a little bit of the smoke and mirrors act to show that there's no there, that there's really nothing happening. And the problem is, I find anyway, as a filmmaker, if you set everything to 11 to begin with, you have nowhere to go. So
yeah,
an
I agree with that.
scene of a mother dying at dying mother at the bedside is cut with the same intensity as helicopters coming in killing Ryan Reynolds. My emotional clock is nowhere to go. Everything is at the same level, so everything means nothing.
At some point you lose. It loses the I mean, it's like if you, it's kind of like, if you give me the dessert right away, then I'm not going to enjoy any other part of the meal.
Yep. It sets the bar at a point where nothing can have meaning because you never settle into anything substantial. And I think you need to, just like you need to earn pauses in a drama or pauses on stage or pauses in a film, you need to earn that kind of urgent, nervous energy. There is no reason why man goes to ATM, 21 cuts later, card goes in, gets money out and goes. It's like, why is that as tense as a bank robbery?
Yeah, I'm gonna run this. I'm gonna run this.
Let's check it out. This is great.
Looped it because I think it's pretty quick, so we'll probably watch it a couple of times before I can even shut it off. Here we go.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
12 cuts.
What the heck? Seriously? There's literally
so brilliant.
There's a jump cut in the middle of it. Did you see his body's in one position in silhouette and then he's in another position in silhouette in the same shot?
It's 7 seconds. And I saw, actually, it said 15 on the internet.
If you count the dog.
So,
yeah,
wow.
If you count the dog.
7 seconds and 12, 15 shots, whatever it is, like
climbing a fence.
7.
Well, also see that's the editing part that I mentioned that 6 Underground does, where you know how like they cut to the dog, but it doesn't necessarily matter if the dog is in anywhere close to the same physical space as Liam Neeson. You just show the dog, then you show Liam Neeson running, and your brain just makes the assumption.
The dog's
like,
in Cleveland. Okay. It's not even
the dog is freaking.
It's a stuffed animal that looks like a dog. It's not even a dog.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, that's why Jackie Chan's action movies are better. Jackie Chan shoots things wide, and if he's being chased by a car and goes up onto the trash, you see him and the car and the trash in the same shot. And so if you look at Jackie Chan's work in an American film, it'll take 5 cuts for him to punch a guy and have his head go back and knock the 2 heads of the guys behind him. If you look at his early Hong Kong work, it's all done in one master shot. And it's the artistry of getting the timing of him hitting, the 2 people go back in the frame and you believe it. You believe the tension because he's there. The problem is when you start making associative cuts, but associations that don't exist.
But and I think one of the things that's really hot right now, Darion, I think you would back me up on this, is one take anything. You know? You know, 3 one takes in a 2-hour film. Whatever, you can hide it with technology or not. But I mean, long takes, one takes, like you're forced, I guess, to slow things down. But that's it's a big deal. One takes are a big deal right now.
It's like a response to this, really, right? It's
I think I might be, yeah.
You everything else is like this, so now you know that you can make a much bigger statement. If it's all one take, it makes a bigger impact. You're like, oh my gosh, what is this innovative thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend Gavin did that. My friend Gavin
right.
Booth did that.
Yeah,
he did
Gavin
an entire
Michael
film
Booth.
in one take.
Exactly. That's how we all know each other, I think, is through Gavin.
Yep.
Well, it's actually not. And the thing is, I keep telling him he needs to sell it. He needs to sell himself better because it's 2 one takes. It's parallel one takes.
It is 2 one takes,
which is freaking brilliant, right? Like it's a parallel one take, which it's
a high wire act.
Seen.
It's nuts. It's really cool, and I really I'm really digging the one take stuff, and even just again. I would have no problem with a filmmaker because you were talking about, what is it, 1918 or whatever that thing is?
Yeah.
A big war movie that's supposed to look like one cut. It's not actually one cut, but it's,
it's still
technologically arranged to make it look like one cut. And it's still, it's still a triumph, I think.
Yeah.
But but I would have no qualm with, like I said, a filmmaker that, did 3, long takes, for a 2-hour movie or whatever, just show us that you can slow things down again and you can make it watchable and enjoyable. And then, people will do it. Cause I'm sure people see one take, like if you watch, we got to watch it cause we haven't played one of your films for a while, Darion. So we're going to watch Mommy real quick. Cause this is
cool.
One take that, and then we're going to get to your film, Harut. So hang on. I will, you guys talk a little bit more about one take filmmaking while I find this film real quick.
Well, the funny thing is too, Rev, if you actually want to, you don't have to play all of Pony, but if you were to play the beginning part of it after playing Mommy, so it shows the complete opposite end of the spectrum. So Pony, I deliberately made that initial scene to have that more of an associative style of editing, where it's just giving you a sort of atmosphere, where Mommy, obviously with the one take, is building atmosphere in a different way. So we could contrast.
We could do that. We can definitely do that.
Yeah,
like the first 2 minutes of Pony. We don't have to go we don't need to do the whole thing.
Oh, and dude, we do need to meet this week about how we're going to package that up and start to use you as a sponsor. Because I got the room. Let's see.
So I do see the value in the associative edit. I do like it. Like as far as, I think it's definitely like the Taken shot it's way overkill. But I think it does do it's an interesting psychological experiment to see what can you communicate to people in a dissociative way, but by making, things that you're showing that are dissociated, but having, so kind of like if I think about Hima's movie, it also kind of makes me think back to, I don't know if you guys remember Oliver Stone's Natural Born Killers.
Mm-hmm.
So Natural Born Killers has a few scenes where, that couple, right? It's a couple, kind of Bonnie and Clyde, but like modern day Bonnie and Clyde, on the run. They're hopped up on drugs and shit, and they're off in the desert. And at some time, he cuts in these cuts of predators from like National Geographic films, and it's like a hyena taking down like an antelope, and and then a lion, So he just cuts it in there randomly, and it automatically puts you into a different mood. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also another person who I remember who did a kind of a good job of that is Darren Aronofsky in Requiem for a Dream, with the whole them getting high and stuff, and he would have those really quick cuts of the injection of the cell penetrating into the into the body, and then the eye opens up, and then it's like the movie's like going slow, and then it's like and then it's like, you know, yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah,
how he does that.
when it adds to the conversation and it adds
Yes.
to the mood, I love that. What I don't like is when it's sustained and it's exhausting after that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're firing the pistons at all. You're firing all the neurons all the time.
Yes,
as
you get
opposed
numb.
To, yeah.
I think
Six
somebody's
Underground
mic
is
needs to
wild.
be muted, I think.
I got it.
Root.
Okay, there we go. He's going shopping.
I just ratted out Harut blatantly. Throw you under the bus, man.
He went shopping.
All right, I'm downloading Pony. I'm going to queue up Mommy here in just a second.
So, like Hema, that was that you kind of hinted at that with your. It's not the same, but you know, like the idea of filmmakers exploring what other images you could throw into the scene, which aren't literal, but do set the tone of the atmosphere.
All right, let's run Mommy here. Hold on, I'm listening to some annoying dude in my ear. There we go. All right.
Mr. Wolfie's gonna eat you. Shh, his Wolfie's gonna eat you all the way up. We have to be quiet, Thomas. Shh. I wasn't even that loud. But Mommy said we have to be. Wait. Did you hear that? Mommy's on a date again. It's always someone new. I'm gonna catch them smooching. No, Tommy, don't go. We're not supposed to come out of our rooms when she's on a date. She's always on a date. I'm just gonna take a quick pic. I'll be right back. Thomas? Thomas. Mommy? Thomas? 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 No, Angie! Go back! Go back! Mommy?
Wow, that was good.
Darion knows how to make a fucking movie.
That was great. I love how you got her to move too at the end. That was great.
I wish I could say I got her to move. She did that all herself, man.
You didn't even know exactly what she was going to do. And you said she's like a dancer, right? So she just, man, she put her body into it like in an insane way.
Yeah,
That was creepy.
Amy is Swedish American, and so she grew up in Sweden but with dual citizenship. And she went to kind of like a fame sort of high school in Sweden. So she grew up dancing, singing, you know, playing instruments. And so that whole dance background, she was like, I got an idea for you, but I'm not going to show it to you till we're recording.
And I've said it before, you were behind the camera for that, right? Because you switched off a couple times, right?
Yeah.
And you were behind the camera from that. And like, I don't know how you just didn't fucking turn around and run when she starts coming at you.
Well, dude, I mean, I was legit scared when it's just weird because it's like, I know she's going to do some weird shit, but I don't really know exactly what it's going to be. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there and we're handing off the gimbal, right? So we had to do 3 handoffs to get through all those corners and do everything and, you know, keep it going. So I did the first leg and I did the very last leg. So I'm taking the camera as we go, and then she's coming at me, and my natural instinct is to actually just run, which is actually why I kind of left more distance in the beginning because I was moving faster than I probably should have been for the shot.
That's
and then
great.
I was like, let me fight myself and just stay in there. I gotta get this footage. This is too good.
That was beautiful. And the tension
thanks.
that you build with the long take is palpable because you know something's coming. It's getting more tense, but I feel like it's being revealed to me as it is being revealed to the character. Like, I don't feel like there's any manipulation because you're not seeing a different angle. It's happening. I'm discovering it as the girl's discovering it. I love that.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah,
that
that was
totally
beautiful.
was the goal. Yeah, that was what we were going for.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was.
Yeah, I want to see. Where can I see more of your stuff?
So that channel it's YouTube Movie Fandom. It's
Okay.
all one word. That's my channel. So all the shorts on that channel are mine.
I'll check that out. Maybe you can send me the link on that. That's
Absolutely,
great.
I will. Yeah.
Really, really good. Really nice look. I like the color grade on it. Everything looked really good.
Let's watch first couple of minutes of Pony, then we'll jump in to Harut's film, and then wrap it up. But that said,
the way I'm setting that up, just to set it up, it's the reason to see it is just because it's completely different than the mommy approach, right? So this is more of the associative edit kind of thing.
Okay.
I think it's almost uploaded. Hang on, and Darion, just let me know when to stop it too. So just tell me.
Yeah, I guess once they leave that poker scene, then you could just cut it. Yeah,
you got it.
It must be Christmas around this motherfucker, huh?
Hey, dark ass Santa over here.
Okay, well, me too.
Fuck on pony, nigga. Get that motherfucking dog.
Give me a motherfucking word. What you doing, nigga? Blow your motherfucking head off.
So, you thought you was just gonna come in here and take our money? Just because you can wear black skin don't make you hard, pony. Here from the suburbs to take all our cash?
But we are walking out with that cash, mule.
Ah, what the fuck, man? Where this bitch come from?
Hey.
Y'all ain't search this bitch?
Let me blow this bitch.
Tell him to move. Give me the fucking gun. Move, nigga.
Bye, bye, baby.
250,000 words. Don't let this nigga get out of here.
You can run, but no.
There's a lot of cuts in there. I didn't realize how many there were, and that's about the fourth time I've seen Pony. That's totally different. Totally different.
That's good.
Yeah. It's that movie. That was just to quickly set the scene, right? The feel of an underground. Even though it's my apartment,
Right.
but
underground in
underground club
place.
Yeah, and then the second half of the movie, all the cuts are slower, so it all slows. So it's a real contrast between the first part and then the later part is much more longer cuts and more paced out.
Definitely, Tom, because it's maybe only 11 there. Just Google Pony Darion d'Anjou and watch the whole thing. It's not very long, but it's really good.
Yeah,
and that is to say that that's Darion has a feature. Pony will be a feature.
That's great.
We're gonna do some advertising sponsorship on my channel for a week or two, where we're just gonna see if we can draw some people in and pull some money in and support for it. We're gonna just do something fun and different. I think Darion will come up with some fun things to do, but see if we can poke the bear a little bit, wake somebody up, and see if they want to help make that movie, because it's great. I mean, I feel I'm not a religious guy, but the word works. Blessed to know you guys and all these folks that I've met recently around filmmaking. And my God, I'm talking to Hema on the other side of the world. Like, how much better does that get?
That's so wonderful. Cool that we're connected to somebody in Malaysia right now making movies.
I've never talked to anybody in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur, in my life for anything, ever. And yet here we are. Like, next time I'm in Kuala Lumpur, I can swing by and have coffee with Hema, right? I mean, like, I know somebody. Yeah, exactly. Look at that. Thumbs up. See? Same with Chicago. So, that's fantastic. Appreciate you letting us look at your films.
Thank you for showing your film.
That.
It was fantastic. Your movie, I really enjoyed it.
First of all, this platform, I think it's such a good idea. Thank you.
Keep doing it. Just keep going. That's the secret, is just keep doing it.
All right, Harut, you can come back in if you want or not. We know you're out running around.
Is he not in?
We'll show his film. I think he's around because I see it jumping up and down here. Wait a minute. I'm looking for the actual. Oh, abridged. That's it. Here we go.
My health is well, yeah. My health is well, yeah. My health is well, yeah. My health is well. I gotta get it. My health is well, yeah. My health is well, yeah. My health is well. My health is well, yeah. My health is well, yeah. My health is well. My health is well, yeah. I gotta get it. My health is well. My health is well, yeah. My health is well.
Atlanta, ATL, home of the brave, city with a population of over 5 million and counting. They say a roughly estimated 36 new people move to Atlanta every day. So with this amount of people moving to a city, you can expect a lot of innovation. And we find that Atlanta has been one of the forefront cities in this health movement, especially in the black community. We sit down with one of the pioneers. So what took you off the conventional path of what everybody else is doing?
Well, I got into eating healthy and being a vegetarian. I think probably what started me, I'm from Detroit.
Okay.
And this would have been in the mid-70s. I was in a Pan-African organization.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the people that were involved, they also were into, eating vegetarian. Back then we said vegetarian, we didn't say vegan.
Yeah.
So, and then you had the different kind of vegetarians. You had the, lacto, you don't ever hear these terms anymore. Lacto-ovo.
Yeah.
Lacto meant you eat milk, and ovo meant you eat eggs, but you were still a vegetarian.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but anyway, so that's really kind of like, and then I read that book by Dick Gregory, Cooking with Mother Nature. That really influenced me a lot.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So, from my understanding, when you had your restaurant, there's another restaurant that came about as well around the same, maybe a little after yours.
Yeah,
right?
about Here and Now.
Here and Now.
Yeah, and that was in the West End.
Oh, okay.
So that got the West End started because, the West End has a lot of ample opportunities for vegans and vegetarians to eat now in the West End. There are several different places.
Yeah, and now who was some of the people that was involved with the Here and Now and such like that you were?
Well, it was sister, she's no longer with us, Zenzali. She was from South Africa.
Okay.
But basically, she opened it with her husband. At the time, it was Dumasani. And we had like a lot of people from the community involved in the Here and Now restaurant.
Okay. All right, good deal. So like, I've heard a lot of stories about this place. Like any kind of cultural person in the community or anything, when they came to Atlanta, this was a place that they went.
Yeah, and also we had like guest lecturers would come and people could do workshops. And like you said, it was a really very powerful place for community activity.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a family.
Yeah.
It felt like family there.
Indeed. I even heard that Bob Marley came through there at one point in time. When he came to Atlanta. Yeah. How did that happen?
I guess somebody must have told him. Somebody probably told him to check it out.
Indeed.
Now there's a debate on which restaurant actually opened first. But we do know that Soul Vegetarian is the longest running vegan restaurant in Atlanta, period. They opened up in the late 70s, just like Here and Now and Abba's restaurant. But they have managed to stand the test of time. So we sit down with our brother Tori, owner of LOJ Fit Club, and also his community's restaurant, Soul Vegetarian, who has franchises of this restaurant all over the world.
All right, so I want to get greens and macaroni and cheese.
ריש הכבוד, ברוך אתה יהוה, מלך העולם המוציא לחם מן הארץ, תורה אבא, בשביל העוקר. הללויה, 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 יו חי, יו חי, יו חי. Selah.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So, like, man, what was it like growing up? You know what I'm saying? This culture with this restaurant and everything like that, man.
I always tell people I had the best of both worlds. And what I mean by that is because I wasn't directly here all the time,
yeah,
it was a treat for me to to make it here when I did come. You understand? So, you know, once every couple months or whatever, and I used to always, you know, ask my dad, like, hey, you know, when next time you gonna take me down to the restaurant?
Yeah, man. Soul Veg is the OG, man. Like I said, man, it's the first actual vegan restaurant I went to. The first vegan mac and cheese I've ever had was at Soul Veg. My first veggie burger, all that stuff, man. Soul Veg has a little special place in my journey and everything.
A lot of people tell me that.
Yeah, because it was only
a couple of them at a time.
Yeah, it ain't nowhere near like what it is now. Not even close. So how's everything going, man?
Everything good, man.
Yeah?
Long day.
I hear that. Man, I hear that, man. So, man, how'd you come up with the name Viva La Vegan? Where'd that come from?
Man, just was playing around with it for a long time. Couldn't figure out there was so many different names, and you know, you just wanted to have a name that said, you know, you can test the time or something. So it came up like the Viva La Vegas, you know. So it was just like Viva La Vegan.
Yeah.
So it kind of took the concept from the Vegas, Viva La Vegas, you know, whatever.
Dig that. So like, how'd you come up with the actual stuff that you was gonna put on the menu? How was like that process from you looking at it as an idea and then coming here and turning it into an actual restaurant?
Well, there was a few little items I already was playing with at home, you know, before we actually opened it up. But as time went on, it started with just a few little items, and then we just kept building off of that. And you know, one day woke up one morning and said, hey, I'm gonna create the pizza burrito, because you know I needed a menu. So we just basically started slow because nobody knew who we was anyway. So we had time to build up our menu and the things that we do. So
yeah, like when I think I became vegan about 2008, 2009. I mean, like none of this stuff was available. It was like a handful of restaurants.
Right.
And like all the like vegan cheeses and like vegan look kind of like replacement type food.
Right.
It was all very basic. So it's just a trip to me just to see how in that little short period of time in that decade, how everything is just turned up. There was no Viva La Vegan back then. You know what I mean? There was good restaurants, but I couldn't get like vegan chicken and waffles and it'd be comparable to the actual, you know, meat alternative and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Because we know what I do when I used to cook the other's food. You know what I'm saying? I had to compare the taste, man, just to remember how did it taste when I had it. And that's how I was able to transform it into the vegan world. You know, like, that's it, you know, because you have to play with stuff for a while, and you say that's the closest I can get to what it tastes like when I did, you know, eat like that. So.
Yeah. With the growth of people moving towards a more plant-based diet, we've also seen a whole slew of new entrepreneurs enter the space. So we catch up with Stephanie Sunshine, who's a vegan chef, author, and yoga instructor, to show us how she's managed to leverage her cooking skills and this new wave of people wanting to eat healthy to make a living.
So we're gonna make our marinade with grapeseed oil. Use about 1/4 cup.
Some, all right?
That should be good. So what I'm gonna prepare tonight, I'll be searing these, And when you sear it, it's funny because I posted on social media. It was like, when you sear these, it kind of reminds me of like dark meat chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, so that's the texture of it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to add about a tablespoon of that.
See, I've actually used the oyster mushrooms for like actual like oyster replacement.
Really?
Yeah, like in a chowder with like coconut milk and stuff like that.
Oh, that sounds good. So I'm gonna do the mushrooms first because then I'm just gonna add them to the pan, just kind of cook them, and then while I'm cooking those, then I'll put the tomatoes in there next.
Okay.
So
how did you even become vegan in the first place?
Good question. So vegan kind of found me. I wasn't looking for it at all. I did not understand it. I was like, what is vegan? Well, really, I didn't even know. I wasn't familiar with veganism. You may have to open it. Can you do that? I'm struggling. My nails. Thank you. So yeah, I had never even heard of vegan really, but I had heard of like vegetarianism. So I was like, why would somebody want to be a vegetarian? I just did not understand it because that's how much I enjoyed eating meat.
Yeah.
So it's really, really ironic that I'm vegan right now. But it was just based on like a series of events. The first thing that happened, I was pregnant with my son, and so I was looking up, like different things just to have a healthy pregnancy. And but at the time, I was still working in higher education.
Okay.
And every morning I would have the same breakfast when I was pregnant. I would always have, now mind you, I'm in an office setting.
Yeah.
So they knew me as that person who was always like bringing their own food in and heating it up and using all the office stuff they got, like the microwave and stuff. But I used to get that, God awful, it's so bad. I used to get that, what's it, the bacon that's already made? You know what I'm talking about? Ready-made bacon?
Yeah.
I'm so cringing right now.
Yeah.
As if bacon is not bad enough, but to have it already made, like what the fuck? Like think how much preservatives they have to use in order to keep that on the shelf.
We grew up on that type of stuff as well, so
yeah.
So how did you, coming from that background, how did you end up becoming a chef, a vegan chef at that?
It's weird. So I quit that lifestyle, doing that every day in 2016.
Okay. You do it cold turkey, or did you how'd you?
Yeah, I just went renegade. It was like, yeah, I'm done here.
Okay.
After 7 years of showing up.
Yeah.
But as far as going from that to that, I know they are completely and totally unrelated, but that was almost a natural thing too, because what started to happen was like I was still at that stage where I was starting to eat healthy at that point, and so I was still that person bringing all my stuff into the office, and eventually it started looking more like this stuff with the fresh like lettuce, and I'm making a salad at my desk and stuff like that. And so students would come in, students and families, they would come in and they'll be like, well, not really students and families, students and the coworkers. They started, like I was the go-to for all these questions. Like people were curious about it, like, what are you doing? How can I eat better and stuff like that. So I became like a consultant on the job. It was weird.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, I could talk about this stuff all day long.
Yeah.
This is what I actually need to be doing. The kale. Set that there. That is lovely. Okay. There we have it. A lettuce wrap. Put that on the side.
You gotta eat too. I don't trust a chef that don't eat their own food.
Oh. I don't really eat my food. I'm just kidding.
See?
I'm still up.
Yeah, that's on point. Yeah,
like.
Excellent. So, how's the chef life treating you thus far?
The chef life is so magical.
Yeah.
It's so magical because I get to do what I love to do all day. And also not only that, but you know, I'm not cooking just any old type of food. This is food that's very nourishing and it's healing, and it's not, you know, I'm not fixing chicken and steak. It's chickpeas and lentils and things that help people to really thrive.
Yeah.
So it has a lot of meaning in that way, as far as being able to help people. And then I just love like what you're doing right now, where you're eating it and you're like, yo, this is so good. That's the best part to me. Is being able to plate the food, serve it to you, and then see that you enjoy it. So chef life, obviously I wouldn't be doing anything else. Like, this is what I love to do.
So how long have you been waiting in line to get a burger?
For about like an hour.
I've been in line probably about an hour and a half now.
I've been waiting in line since like, I think it's about almost an hour or some change, like an hour and a half.
So is this your first time eating here?
Yes, very first time.
Your third time?
Yep.
So it's worth it?
Oh yeah, after that first time it's worth it, man. Like, it's worth it.
Oh, it's amazing.
So where'd you get that name from? Like,
Cause I'm a slut.
You a slut?
No. I was like, I'm an educated slut.
Okay.
Literally, it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's why I believe, like, and I say this, and it might sound cliche, like, when you stay ready, you never have to get ready. Like, this is one of those things, like, I ain't even had to think about. I didn't have a business plan.
Yeah.
I didn't have, like, funding. I didn't have any of that. I didn't have, like professional meetings. I was just sitting in the house one day, and Slutty Vegan came to mind.
Yeah.
And literally, all the doorways open for me. That's when I knew that I was walking in my purpose.
Yeah.
Because it didn't feel like work. Still doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
Like, it's all natural for me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
even when things go wrong, it's still right.
Yeah.
Like, if there's one downfall, there's like 10 comebacks. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And people always say, like, to do what you love, it shouldn't feel like work.
Yeah.
Like, this is who I am naturally. Even before Slutty Vegan, like, I always love to cook. My friends always know that. Everybody that's around me is vegan, because
Yeah.
if you didn't start that way, you're around me enough, and I didn't instill something in you to make you want to change your lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing now that I can do it on a grand scale, and I'm reaching the masses.
Yeah. So, like, as far as, like, the actual product that you have,
Yes.
like, was this stuff that you was making, you know, just on your own, or how did that develop?
Yeah, so it was basically what was missing. So, like, the best businesses start from the greatest problems, right?
Yeah.
So the problem was that in Atlanta, there was no good places to get late night vegan food. So
Yeah.
I started just coming up with some recipes. Like, I was just putting stuff, hold on one second. I was just putting stuff together.
Yeah.
I was just putting stuff together, and it was like, oh, this works. Oh, this tastes good. Oh, wait, what? And then I would have my friends trying it. And then I started cooking in a commercial kitchen. So this didn't start from a truck.
The shared kitchen spot.
Yeah, I started cooking in a shared kitchen. And the first week I had like 4 customers. I'm like, God, what you trying to show me? Like, I was selling through Uber Eats and Postmates and DoorDash.
Yeah.
And then the next week, one person posted me, and literally it just blew overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, all from recipes that I created.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that? Like, I mean, on social media, you got everybody from the mayor of Atlanta and everybody, you know, posting your stuff. Like, how you feel about that social impact that this is making?
Technology is real.
Yeah.
I have not paid for marketing.
Uh-huh.
I just got a publicist last week, not because I needed one, just because, you know, I've kind of like reached every element of Atlanta, and now it's time to, you know, take it to the next level. But like, it's a beautiful feeling. One, because I have a lot of loyal supporters. There are people out there that stand 4 hours just to get some food.
Yeah.
Like, you ain't gotta stand in a long line to get Jordans no more.
Yeah.
Like, you standing in line to get a healthier alternative to
Yeah.
eating a dead animal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then to see so many of us supporting, it's amazing. Like, I can't believe it. You see all these notifications on my phone. Like I get messages after messages of people saying how proud of me they are, of how supportive they are, and like that is what keeps me going.
Yeah.
That's what keeps me waking up every single day. Like I could do this, even the days that I'm tired, even the days that sometimes I want to give up because it's a little overwhelming. But I'm like, you know what? I got a village behind me, people that I don't even know that supporting me, that are rooting for me, that want to see me win, and it's the best feeling in the world. And I gotta give that to God first, and then social media.
Indeed. So like moving forward, you know, what are your plans for the business and everything like that?
Well, so I'm excited for what the future has to hold.
Indeed.
You know, a lot of celebrities have chewed on my burger.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of potential investors, and the intention is to scale and make Slutty Vegan a household name. And I want to be clear, like, the name is Slutty, but it has nothing to do with sex. It's about an experience that you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's about getting your attention. So you hear the sex piece, now I got you tuned in. So now I can introduce you to some alkaline vegan once you have my burger. So this is the beginning of a conversation. You know what I mean?
All right. So I'm about to get into this one night stand. Slutty Vegan. Yeah, this is sorcery. For real.
Going through Atlanta, exploring the vegan landscape has been great, and I might have gained a few pounds in the process. But what we learned is that this is not new. People have been building the foundation for this since way back in the day, over 40 years ago. And now we're seeing this spread all across the United States. Atlanta is known for a lot of things. It's known for its nightlife. It's the club capital of the U.S., one of them. It's currently the music capital in the United States. And now we can attribute one of the vegan food capitals in the United States, definitely of the South.
My health is wealth, yeah. My health is wealth, yeah. My health is wealth, yeah. My health is wealth, wealth. I gotta get it. My health is wealth, yeah. My health is wealth, yeah. My health is wealth, wealth. My health is wealth, yeah. My health is wealth, yeah. My health is wealth, wealth. My health is wealth, yeah. I gotta get it. My health is wealth, wealth. My health is wealth, yeah. My health is wealth. My health is wealth, homie. I eat it rich. Full of nutrients and vitamins, body legit. Taking care of my temple, that's what God.
Hey, Harut got back inside.
Great job.
Nice job, buddy.
Thank you.
Very cool.
I like feeling like a fly on the wall listening to your conversation, how you draw them out. You drew out their personality.
Yeah, appreciate that, man. Interviewing is something I'm trying to figure out. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah, especially the ladies, the cook, both of them, the cook and the chef, and then her after it. You really caught their personality. You can see where they're just like they have no boundaries. They can go ahead and do whatever they think they can do, and your enthusiasm for it came through as well, which I really thought was good.
But Darion wants to know: did you get a date?
Man, I'm a married man, man.
Oh,
we just saw the date. The date happened.
That was the dinner date.
That was the date. We actually saw the date. I'm not going to let you slide on this one, brother. That young lady got a lot of attention in the movie.
He don't know nothing. He like,
Deny.
Yeah, that's the right answer. Deny. No, that was cool.
That was funny. yeah, I think your interview style and you know, you made a nice little film there. You put it together well, and I think that's not our first non-narrative film, Darion. I think so.
I feel like that was the first documentary, but I mean,
Yeah.
lot of kudos to you for highlighting that side of Atlanta. Also, just as from the perspective of the cultural film, I was, add the race thing. It's also just showing one aspect of Black culture that a lot of people don't know about. Like, I just
Hey,
don't
that's
think,
true because we have that on the South Side in Chicago. There are several very well-known vegetarian, vegan places, and there's a whole Black vegan culture on the South Side of Chicago, no doubt about it. And yeah, I bet most Americans probably don't, they probably don't know much about vegan food anyway, let alone there's a whole subculture of, these Black vegan restaurants that have been around for a long time.
Yeah, there's a Soul Vegetarian in Chicago.
Yes, there is. Yeah, I love that place.
How many slutty vegan locations are there now?
3.
3. Okay, yeah.
Yep,
Yeah,
it's
it's
3.
growing.
Yep, and then they still have the food truck.
Okay.
So
So
they have
it's
locations and the
these,
food truck.
where are they? So they're down in Southwest Atlanta, right? Where they
There's
started.
one in the west.
Right, the
There's
West
one
End. Okay.
on Edgewood, and then
Yep.
there's an in McDonough, or not McDonough, Jonesboro.
Jonesboro. Okay, so they haven't really gone north side at all yet. Okay.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, that was a lot of fun, and definitely made me think of Soul Veg on the South Side, and just another reason why I need a car. This is a long way from the north side here to the south side of Chicago. A long drive. It's also a long cultural journey to go from the north side of Chicago to the south side of Chicago. And I encourage people from the south side of Chicago and people from the north side of Chicago to go to those other respective communities and see what they're, what there is and what they're doing. I've got also kind of a familiarity with vegetarian food through like the Nation of Islam, and they have a restaurant on like 79th. So I've got a little bit of that kind of, because I was a vegetarian for a long time, and then second wife, the executive producer, we did that too, and then eventually we went back to meat because my son, when he was born, we're like, how are we going to put protein in this little dude, without putting meat in him? And then, and by the way, bacon is the gateway meat. If you are a vegetarian and you were a meat eater, do not eat bacon under any circumstances. Don't let yourself eat bacon, because if you do, it's over. You will just go back, because bacon just, that's the thing you miss the most, I think, as a vegetarian, is bacon.
Yeah, they got some good alternatives out there now, but
that's good.
You're right about saying, yeah, I used to love bacon back in the day.
It is. Well, that was nice. What are you how long ago did you make that? Because I know you said you packaged that up as a little bit of a documentary, but you also shot it with the intent of it being more episodic.
Yeah, because I just did Atlanta, but you can tell that a similar story in New York and DC and the Bay and Chicago. You can go around the country with that. So, I only had it in my budget to shoot Atlanta, but I would like to take it, take it on the
around. That'd be cool. That'd be very cool. Well, listen, Tom, it really good. Excuse me. Tom needs to go. Really good to see you. We should have you come back sometime, Tom, just as a guest co-host judge, if you want. That'd be fun
I'd
too.
love to. I think this is great. All the films were fantastic. I encourage everybody to check out more of the work that's going on here, and thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, thanks for coming, man. It's really great to see you, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, good night. Take care. Farouk, great job. Dorian, fantastic job. I don't know if he's still on here, but pass on my thanks and keep going, Hema.
Thank you.
Okay, take care. Good night.
Good night.
All right. I don't know what happened to Darion. He probably ran out to get some slutty vegan, or he's probably hungry.
Coincidentally, that's where I was before I
Oh,
got
was
back
it?
home.
Very funny. Very cool. Well, that is your second film in the film festival. So I think that's our first. You're our first 2-person film person, I think. But I really like. You're good. You're a good interviewer. You present well. You know what I mean? It's not just the questions. It's it's the body language and everything. You do a nice. You've got you do a nice job with it. I mean, it's I interview people 5 nights a week, so and it's all about being able to have that conversation and make it just feel like it's seamless, flawless. You're just sitting there and you're in your groove. You felt very much in your groove there, so I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
All right. Well, listen, I think Hema and Harut and Darion, if you're there, and Tom, thank you very much. And wait a minute. How does he say his name? Hema, how does he say his name? Udis. Udis, yeah. And thank Udis for bringing us Hema. And Hema, when you starting to write your next script for your next film, let me know. Now, the reason that I say that is because then that way you'll feel pressured to write another screenplay. Because I know you got a new job and you might get bogged down in your new job, but I'm just urging you to write that next screenplay if you haven't yet, because make another film. You did a great job. I can't wait to see the next one.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the motivation.
You're welcome. All right, everybody. Well, this has just been an absolute blast. We will be back next week, and we'll be back Monday on the big interview, and that is at 9 p.m. here in the Central Region, 10 p.m. in LA, and what is that, 7 p.m.? I'm sorry, 7 p.m. in LA and 10 p.m. in Chicago. Don't forget, Scooch Case, everybody. Use Scooch Case. I must be frozen. Why can't I see the case? Wow, I'm delayed. Okay. Interesting. Hang on. Can't be delayed that much. Oh, I'm frozen. But yes, thank you, everybody. Oh, we've totally lost our... Oh, my phone must have died. That's interesting. Hang on. Yeah. The camera died. Okay. Darion, I can't hear you, buddy.
Hey, Root, I was going to ask real quick. So what has that film been submitted to like documentary festivals yet or anything like that?
No. I've screened it a couple places, but I haven't submitted it to any documentary film festival. No.
So I think that with some a bit of editing, I think it'll be good to go, just because the topic is so unique, and I don't know if anybody else has done that topic. Have you seen any other documentaries on that?
No, I've seen one independent one out there, but no, not really.
Yeah, so I noticed you had in some of them you had about 3 cameras going, right, at the same time?
Yeah.
Which cameras, if I may ask?
GH4, Panasonic G7, and a Sony A7, one of those A7 S's or whatnot.
Got you.
Yeah.
So what I...
Uh-oh.
Yeah, well, he makes so many of them horror movies, he was bound to have Chucky come get him, Just wait to read the newspaper. Bigfoot tears apart Atlanta filmmaker or something. You know, he's out walking in the woods somewhere. That dude loves horror, so something probably got him.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure where he was going to go, but we'll see if he comes back in a minute. But I would say, sounds like from, you know, I'm just a host and a guy who went to film school for a while and likes films. And I mean, I worked in the business in a small way for a few years, but Darion, you know, that dude knows filmmaking inside and out. So it sounds like he's ready to be your distributor for the he's coming back. Here he is. Come on now. He's coming. It's like the little engine that could. There he is. Chug, chug, chug. He's back.
So I don't think it's going to keep me. I don't think my phone is dying, and I think what it's doing is it's sucking power faster than it's charging right now.
Oh, I know that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll get with you offline, Harut. But yeah, I would just there's a couple little things, and I think that thing would be ready to go. It was just I was just cutting down the timing to keep the pacing really much faster, and then also just going in for the color correction and sound mix, and that thing is ready to go. You know, just put it out there.
Indeed,
that's awesome.
Yeah, there's and that's a cut down because it's really, I've over 7 hours of footage. I even cut out some segments. So
yeah, I mean, but you're so close now. I mean, I think what was the runtime right now?
23, I think.
Yeah, so if you take that thing down to like 15, I think it'll be the best. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that is some sage advice, and I got to say, every week people get their look. If you're watching this show and you like it, and you use anything we've said to make a film, send us some fucking money because you're getting free film school whenever Darion opens his mouth. You know, so
Indeed.
Yeah, support us. We will. We'll be back next week. Darion's going to be going in and out. So, yep. We'll wrap it up, Darion. Say goodnight.
Everybody, it was fun. My phone wants to get me out of this thing. So it's been great. Those movies were really fun for me to watch. Thank you, everybody, for sharing them. Thank you for making them as well. And please keep making them.
Hey, Darion, thank you for being a part of this. And Hema, Harut, Kizzy for helping out there behind the scenes. Tom, great to see all of you. We'll be back next week, same time. New films. Peace be with you, and namaste.